while you were busy hating yourself, your lips, your skin color, your Jackson 5 nostrils, your hair, your body, specifically your curves, you were being hijacked. You were being bamboozled. Sorry to tell you that, but you are. Hi everybody, my name is Naka Onilifor, and I'm here to make the invisible visible to Black women. Let's get into it. So I'm gonna start with an example. You all may remember, and maybe you've learned about the minstrel shows from, let's just say, the early 1900s. Now, minstrelsy and minstrel shows, those were a very popular form of theater and entertainment. I would argue around that time, the most popular form of theater and entertainment. And what happens during minstrel shows, or what has happened, is that oftentimes there is a white person, a white man, who puts on blackface and big lips, big red lips, and makes fun of Black people, Black culture, the way Black folks communicate, specifically during that time period, and mocks essentially Blackness. Fast forward to 2023. You have white people, or just non-Black people, who get suntans and lip fillers. And some of the things that they teased and mocked Black people for, now they are paying lots of money to possess. That is one of the ways in which we, and you and I, have been bamboozled. Growing up Black, growing up as a Black woman, there are a lot of things that you are not necessarily celebrated for. You are often told that perhaps you are too large in size. Or again, many Black women have stories about their hair texture and being told that they need to straighten their hair. And then you remember the 80s, where a lot of non-Black people were perming their hair to get curly hair. Okay, that was happening. Going back to body size, I'm going to make reference to Lillian Russell, who was a white woman, plus size white woman. And in the late 1800s, early 1900s, she was a beauty icon. She was a singer, an American actress, and praised for her beauty. And again, she was plus size. She would have been considered plus size even today. Many Black women possess that same size and oftentimes go to the doctor or go to a function and are made to feel that they are too large. You know, they are called names even by those in their own culture. And so historically, you know, even if you go back to the Renaissance era, you know, you will see images of, you know, voluptuous white people, and being a person of a certain size back then was not a bad thing, because it symbolized health and wealth and the fact that you were not hungry. And now that same exact size is considered unhealthy. And I'm talking about like an average size, right? Like obviously not extremely obese or anything like that. But now that size, that average size, the size that would have been deemed, again, 100 or so or more years ago as healthy, is now all of a sudden considered unhealthy, considered undesirable, right? Like how did that happen? And many of us as Black women have internalized this. Many of us have been made to feel, socialized to believe that we are not as desirable because of our bodies or because of certain features. When in actuality, many of these same features and things that we might have been thinking are not desirable are actually being highly desired and consumed by other cultures, right? So it's like everyone else sees the value but us. We have been bamboozled. We have been tricked to believe that our value is low, when in fact there are folks profiting and commoditizing traits that we ourselves almost don't even see much value in. I could continue on. I mean, one of the things, and this is a sensitive subject and I can't really get too much into it because this is YouTube, but I do think that there is a love-hate relationship with the Black body, specifically in this case with the Black woman's body. Many of us all know about slavery and the ways in which Black women were violated, abused, and I'm not going to say the word, but the R word, all these things happening to Black women during slavery. And there was a sexualization of the Black woman's body during this time period, you know, and whiteness was put on a pedestal, viewed as pure, whereas Blackness, you know, became something that was viewed as the opposite of that. And so what happens over time is that the Black woman's body is still being sexualized even today. I mean, you can look at any rap video, okay? You don't even have to go to a rap video, but even just going to an average American pop culture image, you will see it's not hard to see a Black woman being sexualized, whether she's sexualizing herself or whether someone else is doing that to her. And so why is it that these images are still with us? We are not slaves anymore, you know? So why hasn't this shifted? And I think part of it is, you know, other cultures, they see the traits that have been sexualized on Black women, such as, for example, our curvier bodies. Not saying every Black woman has a curvy body, but many of us do, a lot of us do. And it is no secret, again, going back to what was happening during slavery. So now you have non-Black people who want to be desired, and they're picking and choosing the traits that they deem to be the desirable traits, which oftentimes goes back to the traits that were being, you know, the things that were being abused, you know, during the things that Black women exhibited that they were abused for and violated for during like slavery times. And so now you have folks who are picking and choosing, oh, I want the curvier bottom. I want the full lips. Not sure about the kinky hair. Okay, yeah, I'll take a little, you know, a little bit darker skin. Sure, put a little, give me a little color, you know. And I'm not sure about the Jackson 5 nostrils. You can keep that. You know, so think about that. Think about what are the things that folks are now, non-Black folks are now, well, and even Black folks actually are piecing together, piecemealing, you know, and why are they doing that? Why are they choosing those specific features and those specific traits? And I think oftentimes if you trace the root of why they're choosing those things, it goes back to some sort of over-sexualization of those things and some way in which they are trying to acquire desirability. But it is off of the backs of Black women. And we sit around and self-loathe and, you know, wish that we looked different than we do, particularly if you are, you know, if you don't look quote unquote exotic or you don't look mixed race in any way. We oftentimes, you know, will question, you know, our beauty value or how beautiful we actually are and in this society, you know, and while we are doing all those things, we're being hijacked. So check out Sabrina Strange's book. It is called Fearing the Black Body, and it's about the racial origins of fat phobia. And I think that, you know, she does a much more scholarly job of breaking down some of the history around how Blackness became associated with fatness. You know, what is the connection between the two, right? Because again, you have to think about, well, I've seen images of during the Renaissance era, and there were a lot of plump white people. What happened? You know, how did the narrative go from, you know, it's okay to be plump to now if you look like that, your BMI is too high and you need to lose weight? You know, what happened there? And so you want to really check out her book, because she talks about that pivotal moment when race and fat phobia meet. And again, as she states it, it was during slavery, where you know, all of a sudden being big, being a little bit larger became something that was related to Black folks. Also filters, you know, I do want to touch on filters. Now, I know very little about filters. You know, I'm not going to say, I don't use the filters. I think it's called Facetune. I don't use those things that change the way your face looks. I have used filters as far as like the color of my photos, but that is something that needs to be addressed, because there are some Facetune filters that actually make folks look more Black. You know, there is a way in which you can use a filter that will give your lips a plumper appearance. And it will do certain things. You know, you'll get the almond shaped eyes, and you'll get, you know, again, some of the certain features that perhaps could be associated with looking more Black. You can a lot of times do that through filters. Now, that again is a way in which Black women pay attention, because while you're thinking you're average, while you're thinking you're regular, while you're thinking you're very basic, there are other folks who see your beauty, and they will not tell you, they will not compliment you, they will not say anything, but trust and believe they will make money, and they will commodify and profit off of your beauty. Blackfishing, you know, now that's a term, a new term that has come up within the last, you know, maybe several years. And that is the, you know, I don't know if it's Kylie Jenner, but there have been celebrities who have been accused of blackfishing, meaning taking photos, and in the photo, the person either uses some kind of Facetune or filter, or the person actually goes out and gets a dark tan and gets lip filler and a BBL and all the things that they need to get to appear racially ambiguous or closer to Black. And even though, yes, folks are doing that, but then it's also happening on a smaller scale. And by that, you know, the smaller scale, just quite frankly, you know, I mean, again, piecemealing it. You know, maybe you're not getting the full menu. Maybe you're not doing you're not doing the BBL and all the filler and everything, but maybe you're just taking little pieces. But think about, why are certain features desirable and other ones are more disposable? Again, like, you know, your nose, like the Black person's nose, the nose that a lot of Black people have. Why is that not being taken? Why is that not being something that other cultures are seeking to change their face so they can have a Black Jackson 5, you know, nostrils? Why are they not doing that? You know, why, again, do you rarely see these other cultures with, you know, they don't put on 4C Afro hair, you know? So again, think about, well, what are these features that folks are clamoring to exhibit, and why? And then kind of trace back the history. And there is, in many cases, history and reasons as to why those specific features is what, again, non-Black folks are choosing to delve into. And even some Black folks. Like I said, Black women get lip fillers. Black women, you know, indulge in all those things as well. But right now in this video, I'm talking about the roots of where a lot of this comes from. And also want to talk about, you know, I know Cardi B went live, it might have been a month ago or so, and she talked about getting Black market butt injections, and how, you know, she warned women not to ever do that. And even with something like that, so black market butt injection, that is different than a BBL. A BBL, typically, in most cases, it should be done by, ideally, someone who's a licensed plastic surgeon. Whereas obviously, if you're going the black market route, you are oftentimes in a hotel room with some random person who's injecting you with silicone or Fix-A-Flat or so Gorilla Glue or whatever the heck they have in their syringes. And even though I think that has died down a little bit now because of the folks like K. Michelle have come out, and even Cardi B, and are speaking up about the dangers of it. But if you think about the root and why and who was actually getting that surgery, or excuse me, who was indulging in the black market injections, early on, it was not only women. In fact, I think it was quite a bit of men who wanted to look like women, wanted to get a more feminine appearance. And so then now you have women, going and doing that, when initially in its inception, it wasn't even something, so to speak, designed for a woman to do, And I would even go as far as saying, even if you look at like all the long lashes and all the makeup and the contouring and, the lace fronts and, a lot of these things, again, I'm not saying that, I'm not going to act like I know the history of all these things, but if you trace back like when it started and who it was really for, like even with plastic surgery, initially surgery was restorative for folks who were considered disabled, but then it became more accessible to the general population. Similarly, all this makeup and lace front wigs and, a lot of these things, some of this stuff was for like men, again, like I said, who wanted to look like women, who wanted to sort of have a more feminine look. And now you have women clamoring to do these things. In some cases, they don't need to do it because they look fine. They look, in fact, oftentimes they look better without it. And they think that adding all these extra things is going to make them look more feminine, when in many cases it doesn't. As of right now, I think, again, there's a love-hate relationship with not only Black people, but also the Black woman, and specifically the Black woman's body and her features. And just wanted you to know, while you oftentimes might feel shame or feel like, you are not as desirable as, say, someone who looks exotic, just remember that that quote unquote exotic looking woman oftentimes is emulating you. All right, subscribe to my channel, like this video, comment, let me know what you think about this topic. It's a controversial topic, but let me know what you think. And stay tuned for more videos. Bye.